Hey there guys, I hope you're doing really well and welcome to the Reykjavik review and my thoughts on A Very Secret Service Saison 2. I didn't have particularly high hopes for the second season of this show because while I enjoyed season 1, I felt like it started off well and then wasn't able to maintain the same level of humour or story all the way through the first season. But I did say in my review of the first season that I felt like what it could have done with was to introduce the plot from the first episode and then base the jokes around the plot all the way from the start, which it only did towards the end. Season 2 does exactly what I'd hoped for Season 1. Season 2 doesn't go for the jokes straight away. It takes a few episodes to establish a story before it can go for the joke. So I didn't really enjoy the first few episodes of this season that much, and I kind of thought, this is a bit of a mistake, this is going to be a bit boring. But after those first few episodes, the platform is there that they can use to joke really, really well. There aren't as many jokes as you would expect in like a sitcom, but the ones you do get are much more satisfying. I would rather one good joke per scene than like 12 average ones like any sitcom will give you. Now, I'm not a comedy expert, so, bear that in mind, but I would compare this to something like Community. If you remove the jokes from Community and place in a little bit of different writing, you could use the same premise from most of those episodes to write an actual drama, and that's a bit like In Service to Friends, or A Very Secret Service. The story here is crazy complex, but they know that. It's tongue-in-cheek. They know how hard it is to follow, and they're actually paying homage to proper espionage films. But the thing is, it's actually really good. It reminds me of when those novelty bands or joke musicians write songs that are just meant to be jokes, but they're actually really nice songs. That's a bit like the story in this season. There are a few new characters, but mostly it's the same characters from Season 1, but this time much better fleshed out. We see a lot of them take on a new kind of role that they didn't have in Season 1, but it doesn't feel clumsy and the performances are excellent. We actually care. We actually get invested in these characters that we've been watching for quite a while now, and we really dislike the people trying to undermine them, but we're also laughing at regular intervals. This is, when I think about it, incredible writing. You'll have heard me sing the praises of Trapped, which is an Icelandic crime masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. I enjoy Trapped more, but I can give as much respect to A Very Secret Service as I do to Trapped, because writing and pulling off a series like A Very Secret Service is so difficult. Acting it is tough as well, and all the actors here do a tremendous job. It's the sort of thing you wouldn't notice, but playing a script like this straight is not at all easy. I won't ruin it for you, but there's this scene in a kitchen that's just hilarious, and you think, how many times did they have to do this before they themselves didn't crack up? That's hard work. I can't even do this without stuffing it up. Politicalness, that's not a word. Additionally, the cinematography and the music is spot on. To be fair, I think it is continued on from the first season, but this time I think the cinematography goes that extra mile. So there's some beautiful espionage style shots, and there's also a distinctive look to each region that they're in, because there's time spent in the Soviet, Africa and Western Europe, and all three of them have their own look. The set decorators and directors of photography have not phoned anything in at all, and neither has the composer. So that script I was praising is all very nicely wrapped up too. If I were to have a criticism of this season, I would have to first say that it's not really a fair criticism. It's not laugh out loud funny all the way through. There are lots of funny bits, but it's not as funny as a straight up comedy like Black Books, for example. But then it's not as dramatic as a straight up thriller like The Bridge. But like I said, that's not really fair, because The Bridge doesn't have any funny bits and Black Books doesn't have any dramatic bits. Au Service isn't a series that I would return to super often, but that's because I personally prefer to be more immersed in a single genre world, and that's not what this series is for, but it's very admirable in its ability to pull this off. So I really enjoyed Au Service de la France Season 2. I'd say I enjoyed it more than the first season. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out, and let me know what you think. If you're new here, my thing is to review foreign series and movies, and also occasionally talk about language learning itself. So if you're interested in either of those things, then click anywhere on the screen that stuff is appearing. Thank you so much to my new subscribers who are helping me feel motivated to make more of these. As always, wherever you are, whatever language you call your own, I hope you really enjoyed this and found it helpful. See you later.